We often begin our relationships with intense love for our partner and hope for a long and fruitful relationship. But unfortunately, emotion betrays us and begins to gradually decrease over time until we reach a stage where we find ourselves isolated from our partner. We do not feel the first flush of love or even any other emotion. Although we do not want to end our relationship with him, we reach a closed road where we have no other option. But through what I will tell you now, I will show you how this is not the inevitable end. I will give you a new perspective on understanding, avoiding, and resolving conflicts. You will find a set of tools and methods that you can learn and apply within days, but whose results last for years. You will finish reading what was stated there, and in your hands is a recipe for ensuring lasting love and intimacy with yourself and others. Chapter 1: Attempts to please others push you toward playing roles that hide your true personality. As humans, we are characterized by having extremely complex personalities and possessing an infinite number of physical, emotional, and emotional needs. The mentality that must be satisfied is that there is one basic and vital need that, if not satisfied, leads to frustration of other aspects, namely, love, and no matter how many achievements and gains you achieve in life, it is impossible to replace your basic need for love. This need begins with your need to love yourself. When you are unable to love yourself, you will not be able to explore your position and express your hidden talents. It will become difficult for others to appreciate and love you sincerely as you deserve. What is the root of the problem? You were born with an inexhaustible supply of self-love, but it becomes dysfunctional as you grow up. We have learned that loving ourselves in the presence of others is risky and safer to hide. Our subconscious mind keeps reminding us of this, but know that it is okay. It's okay to value yourself and want to be selfish, and it's okay to be yourself. Your worth and love lies in your personality, not in appearance or success, and there is nothing wrong with making mistakes, as love must not be conditional. There is nothing wrong with expressing yourself, because when you become more preoccupied with imitating others, you miss the opportunity to explore your personal uniqueness. Your attempts to feel loved and please others lead you to learn and adopt a set of behavioral strategies which gradually turns into roles that you play, consciously or unconsciously, as one of us may become an actor. He tries to live up to their expectations and always feels driven to achieve, or he may become a critic, busy finding faults in others and belittling them. Or he is a braggart who compensates for his low self-esteem by exaggerating facts and bragging, or he may play the role of the victim to gain the sympathy of others and gain attention. Or he may become gentle and try to please others in everything he does, and he is afraid to act like himself. One of us may turn into a fanatic who finds it impossible to admit his mistakes so as not to fall from the eyes of others, or an angry person who always blames us, or a believer who always relies on others to inform him of the facts, or one of us may become shy and afraid of others' criticism and judgment. They view him as a failure or a showman who always tries to attract attention and gain recognition through his possessions. Or perhaps he plays the role of a sacrificer who has learned that love means compromising for others. Or worse, he becomes a fake, playing many roles until he no longer knows his true personality. Chapter 2: Others. The problems we face in our relationships have their roots in our distant past. It is easy for us to fall in love, but it is difficult to maintain it. This is not a personal opinion, but rather what studies have proven. Many people who are stuck in their relationships cannot look at their problems or admit them and continue to pretend to be happy and continue to pretend to be happy. Others ignore their feelings because they do not see a solution to their problems. Others give up and abandon their partner. Although an intimate relationship is the ideal situation for treating repressed feelings, when you find someone with whom you feel safe and loved, your feelings begin to appear on the surface. While when you live alone, isolated from others, it becomes easy to suppress your feelings. Of course, this does not mean underestimating the importance of isolation. But your need for independence should not be used as an excuse to deny feelings if you learn how to deal with your emotions in the moment. It is a condition for treating old wounds. What we do not realize is that the roots of the problem go back to our distant past, before we were 6 years old. Every one of us learned love from him, and everything the parents do reflects on the child, whether it's lying, repression, anger, or miscommunication. The good news is that you can learn to love again. Enriching your relationships is an art and a science, like building bridges or playing a musical instrument. It requires skill and daily application of these skills, and like all arts and sciences, it will seem as if it were a dark secret. Something is difficult to understand until you work on developing it long enough to master it, and this is not an invitation to change yourself, or to not be who you really are, because no change driven by self-loathing will bring any love. Rather, this is an invitation to connect with your true self. Chapter 3. The key to enriching relationships is telling the whole truth, the essential key to learning how to enrich one's relationships. It is to be able to express the complete truth about himself and his feelings even if he does not like it. But before you can communicate the truth of what you feel, you must know your feelings first. Feelings are like an iceberg floating in the ocean. You only see 1/10 of it, while 9/10 of it remains submerged, and in order to begin to understand the maze of your feelings, you have to realize that every time you feel miserable and unable to cope emotionally with a situation, you are unconsciously going through multiple levels of emotions. It is anger, pain, fear, guilt, love, and your ability to sense all levels. It is the key to resolving your emotional disturbances. Failure to reveal the full truth of your feelings has serious consequences. It is manifested in 4 warning signs that appear when the emotional connection and one's ability to lose love are weakened, which are first to show resistance to what the other party says or does. Secondly, to resent the actions of the other party and blame him for them. Third, rejection of the other and your lack of desire for him emotionally and physically. Fourth, repression. It occurs when you become so tired of resistance, resentment, and rejection that you become numb to your feelings in search of comfort and salvation. Numbness seeps into the rest of your life. You lose your enthusiasm, vitality, and passion, and you can experience these signs within days or even minutes. You may wonder why a person represses feelings, and the answer is that each of us grows up to build his own judgments based on his background and experiences. He classifies feelings into true or good and false or bad. With time, he feels the possibility of expressing what is correct and the necessity of repressing what is bad. For example, boys often learn at a young age. Avoid expressing feelings of weakness. Girls avoid expressing feelings of anger, and this will accompany them for the rest of their lives, but know that you are expressing feelings of anger. Because suppressing your feelings will not kill them, but rather it will numb your ability to sense positive feelings or make you exaggerate your reaction towards others or the surrounding circumstances. Or your body may express the stress through fatigue and illness. Chapter 4. Your partner may express what you are trying to suppress, and his emotions may affect your emotions and vice versa. In order to understand the mechanism of interaction in our relationships, I want you to imagine 2 tanks containing liquids. A tube connects them to allow liquid to be transferred at any time. Now replace these 2 tanks with 2 people who have a relationship and the liquid has feelings. The liquid may move from one party, causing pressure in the other. This is what we call the principle that forms the core of the physics of relationships, which states that your partner may express what you intend to suppress. The opposite is true. For example, the more one party buries the fear deep within itself, the more fear is transmitted to the other party. You may find him suddenly feeling insecure and panicked, and it is likely that he will begin to express his fears as the first party becomes more isolated. The second party's fears swell until they reach the stage of hysteria. We are not saying this so that you can exploit this information to prove the correctness of your position and the error of the other party. Of course, not everything you suffer from is a result of the other person's suppression of feelings. But we want to draw your attention to the fact that those close to you who act as if they are intimidating reflect an image of your person. So if you are repressing certain feelings, maybe your partner keeps teasing you with these feelings as if you were holding up a mirror and saying, "Look at some of what you're repressing." Honey, the matter is not only related to intimate relationships, but rather we find it happening to a large extent in families that include children. What do they suppress about their feelings? Negative feelings will be expressed by your children, so it is important for the family to work on solving their problems together. The matter may reach a dangerous stage. When both parties in a relationship suppress their feelings, both sides of the tank will be compressed. As a result, all the pressure builds up in the connecting tube until it explodes. That is, the two parties completely break the emotional connection between them. You must be wondering now how to recognize the opposite effect and the answer. If you notice that the other person's expression of certain feelings bothers you and that you are resisting him, know that he may be expressing the pent-up feelings he is doing to you, but if it does not make you feel uncomfortable and you can easily console him, it is likely that you are not suppressing negative feelings and the other party is simply expressing what is inside. Now the most important question. What can you do about the adverse effect? Chapter 5. Heart techniques are techniques for healthy dealing with your negative emotions and building effective communication with your partner. As soon as you feel in yourself a little resistance towards the other, know that time turns into an opportunity to put the problem aside and practice one of the heart techniques. These are simulation, anger, and love speech. The idea of simulation is based on each party's narration of the other's feelings. To relieve tension and try to understand the other's position, the first party narrates his feelings so that the second party emulates these feelings honestly. Without making any comments or trying to defend her, he then tries to own the other's feelings, meaning he tries to play the role of the first party completely. By imitating his total feelings for a minute or two, at this point the resistance to feelings will decrease, engagement will increase, and with it the feeling of improvement. The last part is the exchange of roles, with the first party mimicking the feelings of the second, and so on. The anger technique is an easy and highly effective way to vent anger and prevent one's self-hatred. His feeling of remorse of conscience takes place in 3 steps, which are firstly expressing anger and remorse of conscience. Here, it is important to direct anger outward, using the pronoun you when addressing yourself. So you say, for example, "I hate you," or "I am upset with you because." Secondly, express your desires using phrases that begin with "I want." For example, "I want you to be more responsible." Thirdly, an expression of positive, loving, and supportive statements. For example, that you can do it and that you are great and that you will succeed. I advise you to invoke this method whenever you feel depressed and remorseful, and the effectiveness of this technique may increase if you share it with another party. I advise you to finally teach your friends and those around you the technique of a love letter. It is best to share and express the complete truth in order to resolve the emotional conflict within you or in your relationships. Every love letter includes the expression of the 5 levels of feelings, which are anger, for example, "I resent you doing so and so," and pain and sadness by saying, "It hurts me that you are like that," and fear and insecurity by saying, "I feel terrified if you are like that." Feelings of guilt and responsibility, for example, I am sorry for doing so, and love, forgiveness, and understanding, for example. I love you because I understand your desire for it and I forgive you for doing so. The purpose of the letter is to bring all feelings to the surface, so do not try to express feelings to the surface in which you will be nice or logical. And when you finish writing it, explain your idea to your partner and ask him to read it out loud and not stop until he finishes it. Remember that this speech is not to justify your positions or actions, but rather to express and share your feelings. Chapter 6. Compatibility is a condition for the success and continuation of a relationship. Love alone is not enough to make a relationship successful. Compatibility is also necessary when your feelings grow in the same direction and you have a common vision for the relationship. You will naturally complement each other. And compatibility means that you and your partner have the same dreams and goals and agree on how to achieve them. It does not mean conformity, as differences create trade, but if the differences are too much, they may create an atmosphere of conflicts and tension. Instead of motivation and balance, it is important to clarify what you want from the relationship frankly. Do not expect your partner to know what is inside you or read your thoughts. Tell him what you want or guide him, and do not forget to ask about his desires as well. It is impossible for you and your partner to always get everything you want from the relationship. But if you are compatible, you can reach a solution that guarantees you both satisfaction. Of course, your love for the other does not always mean that you agree with him. It is not difficult to name negative feelings, just state the complete truth about these feelings according to the techniques we explained previously. Express your anger and resentment through your pain, fear, and guilt, and you will be overwhelmed by a new surge of love. You will find yourself able to forgive your partner, and forgiveness does not mean agreeing to the actions of the other, but rather it means removing your emotional resistance. In a way that allows your love to flow with the fluency with which it used to flow previously. The process of venting your negative feelings and achieving a real state. Love and forgiveness have their own importance for your personal growth. When you stop loving, know that you are the one who is most harmed. On the other hand, often when we want to leave someone, we start looking for evidence to justify our departure. But even if we are determined to separate, it is important before a relationship ends that we try to purify love and forgiveness when negative feelings accumulate towards the partner. Let go of hatred and feel love and gratitude again. It is extremely dangerous for a person to leave his partner while still feeling pain and anger. He didn't deal with it, and it's not just about this relationship, but what usually happens is that you carry these pent-up negative feelings with you. When you establish a new relationship and it happens that you are dealing with him, you quickly begin to influence her. Therefore, I want you to look at all the relationships that you have established that were not crowned with success as golden opportunities to learn how to love better. Every new time your love for another does not mean that you agree with him all the way, or even that you feel the way you do about him, or even feeling good all the time. No one is perfect, and when you love someone, there are always some aspects that you will not like or even hate. All pent-up resentment culminates in hatred, and if you do not give yourself permission to express your hatred in appropriate ways, it will be repressed within you, and with it your ability to love others with your ultimate self-image. It includes tension and conflicts in relationships, but it is a turning point in life. Love succeeds if you know how to succeed and work on it. His formula simply requires you to first love yourself for who you are, and then you will find that there is benefit from love. It will come back to you automatically from others, so you must deal with your feelings and not suppress them out of your love, and always declare the complete truth. To avoid falling into the trap of the so-called backfire, which can lead to the end of your relationships, therefore, make sure to build healthy and effective communication with your partner to achieve the compatibility required to continue the relationship. This will help you deal with negative situations in relationships and reach complete love deep down. This applies not only to intimate emotional relationships, but also to your relationships within your family, work, and friends.